parlare ancora di tutte queste cose. Ormai la nostra situazione non ha una via d'uscita. Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione. È inutile tentare ancora, non c'è la soluzione. Ma quante volte hai già tentato e dopo hai rinunciato? Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione. E a te sembra tanto facile di cambiare il mondo come vuoi, di cambiare come pare a te i pensieri della gente. Ma per me non è così e dico non pensiamoci. Ma cosa vuoi pensare? Ormai conviene più lasciare le cose come stanno. Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione e dici sempre che fra noi qualcosa è rimasto. Io dico che cos'è rimasto, mi dici forse tutto. Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione e a te sembra tanto facile di cambiare il mondo come vuoi, di cambiare come pare a te i pensieri della gente. Ma per me non è così, è inutile parlare ancora di tutte queste cose. Se proprio si dovrà parlare, facciamo come dico io. Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione. Cerca un altro argomento di conversazione.
Hello everyone. Good morning. Radio Panini. Good morning. This is the first time I'm playing here, and there is the sun shining out from the window. So I'm so excited. Like I'm so full of energies today. It's the third episode of Nomady, and today I have a very special guest for two reasons. First is because you are a very special person in general, I understood. And it's because we've been chasing each other for such a long time, and now we are finally making it. So I have Mattis Dauge with me. I nailed the pronunciation right.
Very good, yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna play one more record to chill out a little bit, and then we're back with some question to know more Mattis. right, we're back. We're back with Matis. Welcome everyone to all my friends that came by. So we are starting off with, we've been speaking a lot in the past months, and I didn't want to, as always said, I don't like to do like a super structured thing. I like to have a very nice flow, and especially today with you, I feel like we should just engage the conversation as it comes. But we are in a very special place for you, right? Is it? Is
Yes,
it true?
we are.
Sorry, you weren't on. Your mic wasn't on.
Yeah. This is a special place for me because I've been working here for 2.5 years and quit quite recently, a few months ago.
And that's actually the reason why I'm so happy to have you, is because in the past shows I've been interviewing people that are somehow connected with this space for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy because you have been here for quite a long time, and you have actually changed also the story of this place and what happened in this place.
Yeah.
This show is called Nomads, and nomadic life, and starts always with the start of the journey is the what I used to call the departure. It's always the first question that I ask to my guests, and the question is like, where did you depart from? Which place you left, and why did you leave? What was the reason, and what was your feelings? What were your what do you have inside of you when you left?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
It's a lot of questions. You can just go.
I think this story starts about 12 or so years ago. I was living in Latvia, and during my high school years, I was convinced that I'm going to become an actor. And so I started studying theater arts.
What kind of actor?
Like a theater actor, or maybe a movie actor one day, and I was quite convinced that's what I'm going to do. But the things didn't really work out to like the way I thought, and then I went to another university where I really didn't like it, and at some moment a classmate of mine said that fuck this, I'm gonna go to Denmark. I have a friend studying there. It's like it's a land of honey,
Yes, that's right. And you had one connection, because you could have been everywhere. That's also the interesting part about like nomadic lives. It's like you end up somewhere. Sometimes you don't think about where you're going. It's just something. It's just like a little spark, and then your life changes completely, and you move somewhere else. Yeah. So you had this friend.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I mean, like, the friend was a kind of an influence in all of this. I just knew that I was not doing what I want to be doing, and the promise of like moving somewhere else and starting over sounded like a great adventure at the time. I mean, it was, and has been a great adventure.
How old were you back then?
I was 20 at the time.
20, okay.
I was 20, like two failed university attempts in, and I was like, something drastic needs to happen.
So let's say you were filled with a little bit of delusion, and you needed to like let it out and like feel more like, I don't know, you need to feel satisfied somehow.
In a way, I think that what I really was looking was like for some sort of meaning in life, actually, and like to dress it up in this adventure of going somewhere there was some sort of promise in that, and I'm very happy I took that step.
I know, you told me. But so when you left, you're right here, and your intention was to do something specific, or you were just like, okay, let's see what's up, or you had like a place, or you had some activity you wanted to pursue, some passion you wanted to?
I would say it's kind of a mix of both, because I didn't entirely know what's my calling in life, but I knew that like I have to kind of put myself into something, and I knew that I would have to study, and like especially in Latvia, there's like this huge societal pressure that like after school you have to go and study. If you don't do that, then who are you?
I completely understand. There is also this thing that I guess in Nordic countries there is this like slow. I mean, it's funny to say that there is this slow approach to life, because we are known to be slow in life, but there is this like, there is time for everything, and I know a lot of people that, especially here, that do like a 1 year off to understand, especially between
Yeah.
school and university.
yeah.
While in my country, for instance, if you do that, you're gonna waste your time. You're a
Yeah.
fucking failure, and you're
Totally.
never gonna go anywhere in your life.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So
You know, in a way, it's funny that you say that because in a way, coming here to study was a little bit that gap year for me. Anyway, the education I chose, it was so willy-nilly, so last moment, not really thought through, and I went, and for me, it was like kind of like a adventurous journey, even if I wasn't that particularly interested in what
Yeah.
I was studying. But
Yeah.
I'm still very glad for it because it brought me to where I am today.
that what were you studying, and did that what you study give you like a big base for what you've been doing in your life? That was I don't know, could be for what you've studied, but also for the approach, for the method, for whatever. Or you think it was just like, okay, I did something, I accomplished it, and then I moved on.
Kind of the second
second,
way. I
okay,
studied
okay.
multimedia design, which seemed like, you know, on paper when I was like looking it up in Latvia, I thought like, wow, this is so interesting, and you get to, you know, make videos and graphic design and all of that, and I had like some sort of interest into it. But when once I started it, I realized that that's also probably not my calling.
And I'm really like I know many people around here know you, and you know a lot of people. You know this building very well. I'm very interested to get to the point to how you got here in here. But I want to know what is the process like? How did you get into the clubbing scene? Were you working before when you were in Latvia also in the clubbing or like in the nightlife or whatever?
The way this particular journey started was 7 years ago. I had moved to Copenhagen to continue my studies
Yeah.
in the field that I'm not interested in, and I took a student job in Culture Box, quite a legendary place in Copenhagen. I think pretty much
Yeah.
everybody knows it.
Yeah.
And for me, that job was just first of all super fun, but I really enjoyed the environment. I really enjoyed a lot of the promise of the what it stands for and so on and so on. And by the time I graduated from school, I had become manager of Culture Box, and where my peers had seeked out internships and jobs within the field, I decided I'm a manager of this place. This is something I really enjoy doing, so I'm gonna do this for now and see what happens, and see where it brings me.
Okay. So it started as a student job, and then it happened to be like an actual passion. You felt passionate about it.
Yeah, certainly.
Do you reckon you back then? This is a question that probably will ask you also afterwards, because it's a personal consideration that I want to know from you. But when you moved to Copenhagen, did you already see back then some differences in how the culture is about nightlife, about clubbing, and in any sense, also artistically, not only like organization-wise, how the spaces are, or everything connected to the club life?
Certainly. I mean, like if we compare it to Latvia, but I was also looking at things with different eyes than I am right now. But like I could certainly see a difference in the way things are run, and like the especially like what kind of market electronic music can have, and like the different nuances of it. Whereas in Latvia, the difference is when I was in Latvia, I was not interested or not involved in it in such a way. And all of a sudden coming into Copenhagen and being entrusted into this, it was kind of an eye-opener, and I was like, wow, okay,
So
this is a way to do it.
You felt a difference somehow in the energy, let's say.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, that's interesting. I think I want to, and like during the show, I usually like to mix words and music, so that music is kind of a frame of that period. So we
Are
just
you
spoke
gonna
about
sing?
what?
Nothing.
No, I'm not gonna sing. No, I'm not gonna sing. You can sing if you want. Are you able? Are you good? No.
I can carry a note. I used to be in a choir when I was a kid,
Okay.
but not anymore.
Not anymore. No, but I would like you to play. I asked you to bring with you something that could represent your life or your spirit, or especially the frame of the moments of your life. So do you have anything that kind of like represents that moment of your life when you like moved from Latvia and moved here in Copenhagen, or do you have something that reminds you of that? Or
Yeah, it's more, like you gave me this task of like looking up music that would fit with periods, and I found that task extremely difficult.
I am
And
very
so-
happy
and
for that.
so I
am very
thought-
happy.
And so I thought I'm just gonna go with a feeling, and
don't
I'm
have
not
to-
gonna defend it too much. But
Yeah.
like the track I want to play is Latvian track. It's
Okay,
very
cool.
beautiful. It's by this artist called Ingus Baušinis. He's quite a legendary musician in Latvia. And yeah, the song is just really nice. I knew it's gonna be sunny today, so I thought I'm gonna bring some sunny tracks.
You know, that's perfect. That's you completed the task in the
Yeah.
best way possible. So
The song is actually called Lidojums uz Sauli, which means a flight to the sun.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, you can play it.
Okay.
Zīda stīgās, priežu sirmās, lauvas baisā, saule svaigā, siržu raibā, mīkla skaistā, skaldi maldi. Gaiši saldi, kā manā visas požas, zelta lapsenes kūs, maigi ienikošas, tālas nojausmas dzīves.
Nestaigā, negrūstās, neklausās, neskatās, neklaidā, nerunā, nemīlās, neskaitās.
Vīna lūpas, zvaigžņu rūsā, silti vēji, pielūdzēji, slaidi smaidi, skarbi galdi, ziemas gaisā. Dubļu rakstā, kā manā visas požas, zelta lapsenes kūs, maigi ienikošas, tālas nojausmas dzīves.
Nestaigā, negrūstās, neklausās, neskatās, neklaidā, nerunā, nemīlās, neskaitās. Nestaigā, negrūstās, neklausās, neskatās, neklaidā, nerunā, nemīlās, neskaitās. Nestaigā, negrūstās, neklausās, neskatās, neklaidā, nerunā, nemīlās, neskaitās.
I really love this song. Is it something like traditional? Like I mean, it sounds very vibey house, like 90s, whatever. But yeah, you were telling me like you actually don't know when is this song from, which is okay.
I don't really know.
Yeah?
I heard it recently on in a promo of a bar
Okay.
in Latvia.
And it just you told me it just sounded like something very familiar
Yeah,
to you.
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, it's really sounded beautiful. Love it. You know, like we've been talking about the start of your journey, how you ended up in Denmark, and how you started your journey into the nightlife. Can I call it nightlife? Is it correct?
Yeah, it's nightlife. A lot of it's nightlife. There's also I've like done a lot of like organizing of events and some festivals and stuff like that. But you know, nightlife is really where my competencies have been like really deeply rooted.
Yeah. So it's because I'm actually not entirely sure about. This is because I'm very ignorant about it, so it's just me. But what is actually a manager of a club doing? What is his job?
I would say it also depends in which club, you know.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. And so what were you doing when you first started this job? And I mean, after you had the student job and you became like manager at Culture Box. What were you doing? And what is your actually effectively your contribution to the club when you manage? No, it's a genuine question.
Yeah.
It's like there is an artistic direction. There is you manage the calendar. I guess you decide on events, but also I don't know. There's the economical aspects. There is all.
It's very different.
Questions.
You know, when I worked in Culture Box and the role of manager didn't really have that much say in what is happening, but we would definitely be taking care of staffing and all kind of staff-related issues like ordering stuff, you know, making like really the day-to-day run around.
Yeah.
And there wasn't, you know, we would have some sort of input or like the way we would dress things up, but in reality we couldn't choose like, okay, we would never have any say in what the music is or stuff like that. But that's also, I think it was, at that time was fitting, but certainly I couldn't handle anything more than, I couldn't even handle it then.
So you were feeling like you wanted actually more control, like you wanted to do more on.
I had back when I became a manager. I became a manager at the same time as a very good friend of mine who we kind of became managers together. Even though she was way more competent than me. Her name is Helena. Shout out to her. And she actually had to hold my hand a lot throughout this process, and she taught me a lot of the stuff that I know today. And she was way more ambitious in these terms. I was just like happy to be allowed to call myself a manager, pretty much, you know.
I know that's the kind of feeling when you first have like a responsibility job, then you're just like happy to say, "Hey, I'm a manager."
Yeah,
you know.
totally.
Yeah, of course. But that's just a moment. So after the Culture Box experience, how did you move on and where did you go? What did you do? Did you take a pause and then restarted from somewhere else, or like you switched to something new already?
The end of Culture Box coincided for me with me and my friend Kevin and John and Maksu. We started a concept called Pleasure Control at the time, and it's still going right now. I was a part of it for the first 2 years, and that was like that was a time that really was like transformative in the way of like actually creating something, building, and especially building it somewhere like a warehouse or pirate parties and so on. And that was transformed. I say it's transformative because it really opened my eyes to all of the possibilities you can do as like when you call the shots and when you can create something that you believe in, not just work within the frame that somebody else is putting you in.
Can I ask you a question? Was it more like building up a community rather than doing a club? You know, like doing
Community was like pretty much the foundation of that whole concept.
So it was another aspect of managing like events in some way.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, and it was like also besides that, all of the production of it, planning it, and
because you
and
didn't
also
you didn't have a place where you were like roaming.
yeah,
No, like
we were roaming, and that was, you know, I really believe that that's something very special because usually in these situations, and certainly for us, we didn't have any money, we didn't have any place to do. We had to like sneak around and sometimes put up pirate parties.
Yeah,
and
how does this thing? It's like all as you say, you pay by yourself basically.
Yeah,
or,
I mean-
or is it like you do crowdfunding, or you do like during parties you have like, of course, I've been to parties where you have to, but you can you know, give a tip
Yeah.
for being great for what you're experiencing. And
Yeah.
I don't know, how does it work? Is it actually sustainable doing just this way?
I mean, you certainly get there, but I remember the first ever party we did that for years people said was the best party they went to was
Yeah.
like, we got the place because Kevin pretty much had an access to a unused power plant, or more like a power plant that nobody is in, and so we pretty much sneaked in and we got 300 people in. It was free entrance, and everybody could bring their own drinks, so we didn't
power
earn any
plant.
money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we, of course, spent some money on getting a sound system and stuff like that, but like we could actually make it very cheaply. And then since we had the proof of that, we started like slowly building it, and it will always be like investing your own money and then being able to scrape up whatever profit you
have to
or
make
you
room
have,
for this
like from
fee. Yeah,
selling
yeah,
drinks
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
but
I
it was
was- yeah.
never a lot of money at all.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, also here where we are right now, this is so like everyone is like Radio Panini is like it's the combination of the effort of everyone, every host. Like today is the second all day here, so it's
Yeah.
gonna be the whole day, and people prepare. Like it takes a long time. I want to remark this thing because in the creative world there is this like shadow cast on the time that people need to spend to actually be able to produce something.
Yeah.
And that time is not always like rewarded. It's always kind of like, it's like, yeah, I can do this drawing by myself, or you know, like, oh, I could do this poster by myself. You know, there is all this like not gratitude about. I feel
But
this is
you know, but there's like something very beautiful also doing things without money. I've always seen, and I always kind of also had like this kind of contrast that I mentioned between like Denmark and Latvia, for example,
Mm-hmm.
is like when you have money, or like more like when you don't have money. That's I think where really the creativity comes out.
Yeah,
Like being
because
able
you
to
make
DIY
efforts.
solutions. Like
Yeah.
when you don't have anything, you don't have resources. You have to figure out and pull it out of nowhere, some sort of crazy. And then in that environment fosters like the rest of it. Okay, like all of a sudden we're not thinking about who we can rent particular stage design element from, but like how we're gonna make stage design, for example, you know. And all of a sudden it starts flowing, and
Yeah,
you come
the-
up with beautiful, amazing things.
the necessity like boosts the creativity somehow. And,
Yeah,
and you find like
absolutely.
amazing solution, or like even just quirky locations with
Yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. So the process from pleasure control, then you kind of arrived in a place where you had to. I know this. I'm spoiling, and I'm being like I'm saying more than I should, but like you've been managing two places at some point,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How much was the gap between these two parts? So when did you start managing this
Yeah.
place here?
Yeah.
And
I mean, there was like also like a big period in between where I did like a lot of connected to this thing that was like really bolstering my CV for me to get this job. But I came into this role in 2021 in August.
so right after Corona.
Yeah,
right?
it was. I was hired at the time to start 1 month before the clubs were allowed to open. So I had to come into this role, and within 1 month set up.
And be
Yeah,
like,
a
okay,
new- a
life
new
is
kind of
life
new
is back.
system.
We have to recreate the night life, or like you recreate the.
Yeah,
and
you know.
Did you did you experience some differences between like before and after? There is this thing before and after. Nothing is the same.
Certainly,
Is
like
it different?
so different. Yeah, it's so
In-
different.
In which
and
sense?
in I mean purely in this workplace sense, like we came in and like the structure here wanted a lot of change, and I wanted to change it in a particular way. But like even besides that, like the whole scene I think came back like so like different in a way. And specifically the first year after opening of the clubs was something completely crazy. There was an insane amount of people. We would have a line throughout the door that like people would stand in line for 2 hours because
there
it was
people
so
were hungry.
thirsty.
Yeah, thirsty.
So
hungry.
thirsty
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah,
partying. And I think that it kind of shaped a lot of things. Like it was an automatic, like it really shaped things how we were doing here, because you know, I didn't have to worry about like whether the choices I'm
Will
making
be,
are good or bad.
successful,
Like no matter what, like we could like turn it completely upside down and people would still be lining up and like drinking our Kool-Aid, you know?
Yeah. So you started in that moment, and as you say, it was kind of like flawless. It was like things were running without like.
I wouldn't say flawless, you know,
Yeah,
but,
that's
it,
what
but
I-
it was a really good catalyzer. This because it really let me grow into the role, but also, you know, without it, I'm not sure if I would have. I think that I would, but I'm not sure if I would have had the possibility to really take things my way, to build them my way, you know. It just was like a very fruitful ground where to just experiment and do and be like, okay, I want to change it like this. Let's do it like this, you know.
And were you able to do everything you wanted, or do you actually? I mean, it's not. You don't have to be like, hey, I wanted to do that, and you're a piece of shit because I couldn't do it. No, I just want to know, like, if there is like, there was of course room for improvement, I guess, like
Yeah,
there is
always,
for everything.
always, yeah.
But which were your like your the thing that you are most proud of accomplishing here? Could be also like, I don't know, booking someone or like doing some kind of party. I reckon you told me about like a
Wednesdays. Yeah.
Yes.
I think for me, like there's a lot of smaller and bigger milestones to remember that I'm extremely proud about. But I think if I would round it up in a way, is one of my missions was like, if I could do anything to make it a bit more music serious, like dance floor oriented, invest whatever we can to make the club be a little bit more serious towards music and a musical experience. And like it was certainly not my task to book music, but I maybe had a little bit of influence. But I, for example, I think one of my crown achievements is that like I pushed through like this idea that like we really need to update our sound, and I wrote a funding project and I got money, and the sound and the sound treatment we have in here is
So the
thanks
reason
to that
why,
project.
yeah, the reason why this dance floor plays so well is
Yeah.
also because of your efforts and your like.
Yeah, but
trust
it's
in the
certainly
process.
a team effort. It's just like I initiated
It's a
it,
team
and then
effort, of
everybody picked up their
Yeah,
like a
the
piece of it,
idea,
you
the
know.
idea, yeah.
But yeah, I think for me, like you know, we like I remember how Bakken was, and I really enjoyed it. When I remember when I was hired, I went and for the first time met Ludwig, which was the booker here. And we went for a meeting, and I said like, listen, there's or whatever whoever said, but we agreed that like we want the rowdy, we want like that it was crazy in here, you know, but like also let's evolve it and make it into something even better. Because for me, a great party has good music and you can lose yourself to dance, but it also has this aspect of like social. Like I more often when I go to parties, I actually spend time just talking to people. That's my thing, you
I
know.
agree. I
So
agree
I want
completely.
both of that, and I think we really achieved that.
Yeah. So you created a community, and this brings me to the next question, which is like, where we are right now. We are in Kodbyen. We are in an area of Copenhagen which is filled with a lot of different social things, social places where you can go to eat, you can go to dance, you can go to see. There is like a design store. There is a bunch of very different things that can help people to gather.
Yeah.
How do you remember it was when it was these two different, Jolene and Bagen, right? You were at some point you were or managing both of the places.
Yeah.
Do you
We
reckon
helped.
there was some kind of like competition in between, or do you wanted to of course you wanted to make it collaborative, no, to make it work together, but
Yeah.
how did it work?
Sure.
These are very close, no? It's very.
I mean, historically, and that was a very important task when we took over Jolene, like to recognize that historically, it's been a kind of a symbiosis, even if we don't work necessarily hand in hand. Bakken and Jolene, I mean, especially before,
Yeah.
there was this concept of Godbeen, like people would come and they would ping pong between the two places, you know, and there's something really important to you know, that's a very big significance in the history of these two places. But when we took over, it was a common decision to say like, hey, like we can, you know, build a super club, like just like
can
this.
build a tunnel
But-
between the two.
But
clubs,
also like this is a business, and also we can build something very special there that is also like very particular in its own way.
So the idea was to diversify, so to offer
Yeah,
a different
exactly.
experience here and there.
Yeah.
Clearly different.
Exactly, yeah. And we wanted to make sure that we're catering a little bit to a different audience, so we don't so and so like kind of lose money,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
in
because
between,
that's-
like make competition
That's
in between
that
ourselves.
can be very easy to happen. You know,
Yeah.
like you push too
Yeah.
much on both, and then you
Yeah.
don't actually see
Yeah.
any revenue.
Yeah.
Okay, I expect now some big bangers because the moment we're talking about of your life is the moment where you are living in the clubs, right?
Yeah.
Clubs
Yeah.
where
I have a
you're
great track, yeah.
where you're home. Did you
Yeah.
have you ever had a small like bed in the club or in an office? No.
A bed? No, I think that
Ever happened that you
thankfully,
slept?
thankfully, I don't think that I have ever slept at Bakken or Jolene.
Okay.
But not to say I haven't been up for 2 days in Bakken or
Okay.
Jolene.
Cool. I think I wanna see if you follow the tasks also in for this next phase. Do
Sure.
you have something? for
Yeah,
us?
I have a great track. I think it comes maybe from the Culture Box times. I have a very close friend, Moses, who actually is now the manager of Jolene, who took over from me as the manager. And he showed me the song once, long time ago, and it just has stuck with me for all of these years. Yes, it's a really good track.
And he's here, right?
He was before. Maybe he went to
Okay.
work. He does work in Jolene. Yeah. All
Go
right.
on.
Can we get a motherfucking moment of silence for this small chronic break? Yeah. Taking bitches out to eat, spending money on these hoes, you know what I'm saying? I tell a bitch like this. Yeah. 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 Tell a bitch like this. Yeah. Yeah. This. Yeah. 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 Taking bitches out to eat, spending money on these hoes, you know what I'm saying? I tell a bitch like this. Yeah. Yeah. bitches out to eat, spending money on these hoes. You know what I'm saying? I tell a bitch like this, bitch, you without me is like hell never without the blue notes. You'll never go platinum. Hey, dance, give me a light.
It's so chemical. Feel it in my veins, in my blood, boy. I'm like an animal. And every single hair, it be standing up. If you want a G, better let me know. And I can turn a rock to a pedestal. Have 'em looking on my body like a jelly ball. Looking at my glass, it's already full. I just got a vision. Candy girl, not talking new edition. Pull up to the bar, then like, now see what you drinking. Kiss it, sending all my love into the kitchen. Sign the receipt, dipping. In the parking lot, got a ticket on the window. Book a car, we get freaky on the weekend. On the dashboard, damn, I love it when you lick it. It's so wicked, do you feel me?
Day one, he sits right next to me. I'm so beyond what he wants to be.
Yeah, new Machine Drum. I love this track.
He sits right next to
So far, so good, right? I'm having a lot of fun, and yeah, as I was saying in the beginning, this weather, everything is like the people outside, you can't really see it, but there is like all the people are outside enjoying the sun. It's perfect. I love it, and you are probably the
It's a good time. I'm having like an itch like to be asking you questions
yeah.
as well,
do
you
it,
know?
do it. I will need at some point to have like a because
Yeah, you
the
need to
program
switch
is-
roles at some moment.
Yeah, yeah,
Because you
yeah.
have a good story as well, right?
I do. I will. That's great. That's a
I
great
think
input.
that's what it was all about. You just made this show so at one moment you can be the guest.
Yes, and be so like selfish and talk about my life. Yeah. No, but the inspiration. That's actually a fair point because the inspiration for the show. I took the inspiration to do this show from looking at me. You know, like yeah, I'm having guests that have a similar experience as me, but that then approach into life into different things like. Yeah, I had Andreas, which was in the beer industry. I had the guys from Radio Panini, and I will have other guests in the architecture world, in the design world. You know, like this. I like that. It is like that. I will at some point. I will probably also talk about me, but no. Now I want to know because we have only 10 minutes left. I want to know what is your present like. We spoke about your past. We spoke about what you did and where did you land. What are you doing right now? What do you want to do?
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
do want to do
great.
something.
Yeah, and it's again maybe a little bit time in my life that is a bit of a mystery and existential, but I knew that I have to move on from this, and I just took the leap of quitting without knowing maybe what the next step is, but I knew I had to change, or like I wanted to change, or like reach a next stage
The
of my
next
life.
chapter. Yeah. Which is not in the club.
No,
scene.
which shouldn't be in a club if I can help it. Yeah.
You're like,
I
okay,
just
that's
wanna
enough.
I wanna certainly be club adjacent, you know.
I know.
And I want to work within the industry of music and electronic music, but this is where I have so much competence. It would be stupid to throw it out of the window, you know. But
From another point of view, from another perspective.
yeah, exactly. More the organizing and production of events, let's say, and stuff like that. I've started up now. Like, let's see where life brings me. I haven't like actively been looking for a job. I've just been enjoying my life. But at the same time, somehow it has come together that I'm starting up two businesses. One is with my friend Moses. We're starting up a hot sauce company, which is super exciting. We actually
Hot
registered
sauces.
registered the company yesterday. Yeah.
Okay, how's it called?
Momo.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is it called like that?
Because finding a name for something you like is fucking impossible, you know.
So you just.
It was supposed to be called Hot Boy. That's the name it always had. But there were so many problems. First of all, don't go hotboy.com. It's a gay porn
Yeah,
website, you know. and it was trademarked as well, and all of this. And we
Yeah,
were
it's
like, we
better.
could never settle on anything we like until yesterday. We were just like, okay, we need to find a name, you know.
Yeah,
And then we were just like, just like mumbling and whatever. Asked Moses, what used to be your nickname in high school? And then he
What
said
was
something.
your
And
email?
it was like Osmo or something, and it kind of developed, and in the end we're now Momo.
That's super cool. How is it working? Are you already like producing something? Have you already like
Yeah.
made some recipes? Because I don't know.
Plenty of hot sauce has been produced already. We just haven't institutionalized it. There's always been like, hey, friends, here, have some. And
Yeah, come
everybody
by
loves
and
it.
try this. Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, but this is like just working, you know? Let's make it real.
Can I say that from my perspective of being like a beer nerd
Yeah.
insider, I've seen a lot of hot sauces going for a lot of money. Like I've seen like, you know, resell or like
Yeah.
the experience of hot sauce as big as beer, bourbon, and you know.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good idea. But
It's
like,
great.
where did it come
and
from?
You should try it because it's fucking amazing.
yeah, I'm not very like spicy friendly,
Well,
but
that's the thing. We are catering to the Danish market. It's actually not very spicy, but it's extremely flavorful.
Taste, yeah.
It's
Okay.
extremely tasty. The newest one has blueberries in it, and it tastes. It's like a blueberry hot sauce. Yeah.
Blueberry hot sauce.
Actually, let me use this moment. If anybody out there is listening, I'm trying to find
Wait.
Danish.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find Danish chili producers, which is obviously hard because we're in Denmark. But if anybody knows of Danish chili producers, please let me know.
Please reach out because
Like
you
chili
need the
farmers, I
local.
guess.
You need local
Yeah.
like local to do something that is like has a reason, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like wine. You produce wine because it's a terroir and
Yeah.
it's like it's connected to where it's grown. So,
Yeah.
but of course there is like there are different possibilities, I guess, for you to. We were talking about this thing of
Yeah.
like I don't know, getting product from somewhere else and then reworking it.
Of course, but I mean, it is. We definitely would want as much as we can to source locally, which is just very hard if you want to source chilies in Denmark. You know.
How long does it take to make like one recipe, like one batch of a hot
I
sauce?
think that it can certainly depend, and you can be fermenting it for a long time or not. I think that like right now it takes about 2 weeks to prepare
Okay.
one batch.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a okay time.
Yeah.
Okay, then I wish you the best.
Thank
the
you.
Very best for
Yeah.
this. I hope you can get me to try some hot sauce that don't actually make me feel like I'm dying.
You will. Yeah.
And I think you can play one more track because we are basically arrived. We arrived
Yeah.
where we had to land, and you can play one more track, and then we can be back and say goodbye to everyone and thank whoever
Sure.
you want to thank.
Sure, I'd like to play
What is
a
it?
track by Egyptian Lover, which is this famous like electronic music producer, which is a very particular kind of sound everybody knows. But actually, I love this track because it's a little bit different. It's actually a love ballad, and you know, life is love.
Who do you wanna dedicate this song to?
To Ludwig, obviously.
Yeah.
The love
Who's
of
casually
come in here, come in here. This man, the booker of Jolie, my partner in crime of Bakken when we worked together here.
Cheers.
Love this guy. Okay, here we go.
I call you.
stars in the sky. Night after night I look in the mirror and wonder why a lover has to cry. Oh. I cry in the night because, girl, you're never ever with me. I know it makes no sense to cry, but this ain't the way my life should be. In the mornings, I go to the pond. All my friends see me walking down the street. They all know something's bothering me because my smile's so weak. Oh. Night after night, I chase you down. Night after night, you disappear. It's hard for me to comprehend. What exactly do you fear? I don't wanna be alone. I don't wanna be alone, but I have no choice if I want you. You have so many friends and you're always on the phone. You make my life so blue.
I do knew this song and I completely forgot about it. And thanks for bringing it back because it's actually beautiful and it's a love song. Yeah, totally. Very different from other love songs. So you actually in the emotion of talking about hot sauce, you told me you were actually had two new things coming. You told me one, which is Momo Momo. And what is the second one that you're working on?
The second one is it's called Spokes, and it's a creative agency that I'm starting up with 3 other people, Henry, Max, and Ash. And we are gonna offer services within music industry and maybe events and festivals, and maybe not just limited to that, but this is where we want to kind of at least base ourselves at first. And do stuff like branding and strategies, visual identity,
So
social media services.
You want to work within the music industry, mainly.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like hoping to work where we know what we're doing and where we know like kind of the audience and so on, and do whatever they need. And like my competencies, for example, is event production.
Yeah,
and
that was my
planning,
question.
You know?
What is the different competencies in the?
Okay. So between us, like we have like these 2 very certain creators, or maybe 3. Ash is doing graphic design, all kinds of visual stuff. Max is doing motion graphics and also visual stuff, visual identity, logos, that kind of stuff. Henry is photography, videography, and artist kind of management or that kind of things. And I would like to push for event production, planning, organization, but also community building and all things underground scene.
So let's say you will continue to work, to continue to do what you were doing, but you will do it from a different perspective or from a different. You will have a. You will now different from before. You have a network, a huge network, I guess. You have competencies. You know people that do things, and you've been around here for a long time. So I'm sure this thing is gonna be great for you. I hope it will be as good as the hot sauce, but
100%.
I still hope the hot sauce gets that. You know, like,
I also have like that tiny thing inside of me. Like hot sauce is really the thing that steals it for me.
and then you will design labels through the through the
Yeah.
creative agency. So
I
the
just-
two things will merge at some point.
I
right?
just wanted to say that like we wanted to acknowledge that like for a lot of people the words creative agency is something like so far, you know, or something unattainable. And
Yeah.
and you know, if I can plug it a little bit, like if anybody has like any sort of projects, even if
You
small
have to
things,
plug. Yeah, of
you have to
course.
like reach out to me and like we'll work on
Totally,
it.
totally. So anything from a creative agency point of view and anything from the
Yeah.
hot sauce point of view,
Yes.
you are
Yes.
the man. You are the
Yeah,
person.
I'm the man,
Yeah.
man.
Okay, great. We are basically done. We have just time for a last small track that I really wanted to play as a last track. I want to thank everyone who is outside, everyone who's inside for coming by. Hope you enjoy the sun. Hope you enjoy the beautiful day that is coming here in Radio Panini. It's gonna be an all-dayer, so stay late. There's gonna be a lot of super talented DJs, a lot of music, a lot of panini
Paninis.
from Simo, who is not here, but I wanted to ask him what is the menu today. But yeah, you have to come by and you have to read the menu. I'm sorry.
And
You have to
let
be
me
here.
say thank you to Stefano
It was
for
my
having
pleasure.
me.
It was my pleasure to have you, and I hope we can do an episode where you are interviewing me.
Yeah, absolutely. and you're trying hot sauce while you're answering.
Oh yes, yes.
Like hot ones, right?
That's already a concept, I think.
Yeah,
But we
yeah,
can
yeah,
do
but
it.
that's
Yeah,
okay.
they only do like
Then you have to
famous people.
sing your answers. That's how it's gonna be
Oh,
different.
Damn. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a good concept. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Ciao.
Baby, call on the dance floor, shine and blaze. Having a good time, wind it with it. Hands in the air, wave at it every year. Smiling with it, yeah, I feel it. Sipping a drink from the top shelf. Came back with it, saying, bring yourself. She want FaceTime up in the rush. Off the lot, coast to coast. See, baby, I'm on the fence. Stop, hit the rings, load the dogs. Run the class, she want privacy. We head back to VIP, but we get to know each other.
Take a trip and ride it, yeah. Why I can feel it. I see what's happening, yeah. I see when the sun's up. Don't you remember? No. How it feels. Take a trip and ride it.
Having a good time, winding with it. Hands in the air, waving at you every year. Smiling with it, ambiance, yeah, I feel it. Drink from the top shelf, came back with it, saying, bring yourself. Rush, you want FaceTime, I hop up in the rush. See, baby, I'm on the fence. Stop, hit the rings, load the boots, cut the bottle for them.
Let's celebrate.
Head back to VIP, but we get to know each other over bubbly. In the ambiance,
Ride it, yeah. Why I can feel it. I see what's happening, yeah. I see when the sun's up. Don't you remember
for the time of my life.
how it feels? Take a trip and ride it.
Cash on my dash, let me call that.
Don't keep me waiting.
All my rockin' all night, yeah.